Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome to the weekly review special for week 7 of the Gaming Decathlon competition. This week I brought in 4,589 points, more than 300 points above last week's score and last week's best round score, which is now this week taking over as the new best round all time. Current virtual best also rising nearly 5,000 points now at 4,977, and the all-time virtual best hits a new landmark and comes up just short of a base landmark. We're at 6,999 points. Looking at the 10 games individually, PCM 19 career mode, a 100 point, exactly 100 point jump from a week ago after wrapping up La Vuelta. Good points earned there, and then also some successes in other races as we approach just about to the end of the season. We are just a few races away from the end of the season. So next week we will see the final score of the current season, but we are on our way to the World Tour. We are getting promoted from Pro Continental to World Tour status. That is going to have an impact on the upcoming season in two ways. It could be harder to score points as we are constantly around better competition, but there's also more points on offer. So how next season goes, we'll see. Normally in Pro Cyclist mode, when I go from Pro Continental to World Tour, I do see a decline in the first season in my score. We'll see if that happens. PCM 19 Pro Cyclist Stage Racer, there's so much season left to go. I'm now in my second year World Tour, and I'm seeing that big rebound and a much higher score now, 369 already, and a lot of time to go, so that record will fall easily this season. FM20, 0 to Hero, got to the end of another season and came up just short of where we were a season ago. Big reason for that was we won a trophy last season in a small competition. It wasn't worth a ton of points, but we won the trophy. Furthest we got this season was a semifinal. Got knocked out. So we didn't get as far in some of the tournaments. Also, our best player was sold, Nicky Matthews, by the board. Offer too good to be true, and they accepted. That was about 1.7 million, and we're a semi-pro side, which, by the way, we're going to be promoted to professional, so hooray, but it hasn't happened yet. We're only on our way to the 7th tier of English soccer, so we've got a long journey still ahead of us, and at such a low level, moving up and losing a couple key players, we didn't have quite as good of a season as we did a year ago. But I expect that to be up next season. Surviving the aftermath. Started my second playthrough. The first playthrough was for Update 3, and now we move on to Update 4, which just released this week. We already rolled out a number of episodes. I'm sorry, I guess it released late last week. I'm a little off on my internal calendar in my head. Released late last week. We got it started with a few episodes at the end of the week, and then we've continued on into this week. And so last week we had our end of series, which finished at 492, but we're already at 366 for this one, and are still quite a few episodes away from where we were on that last one. So rapid progress. Maybe I'm better at playing the game. That could be a thing. I did have a couple struggles in the first playthrough that I'm not experiencing thus far this time. Rebel Inc., new record, really good score, moving way up the list, now at 880 points. Achieved simply by not only winning on Brutal for the first time, but claiming a full 5-star performance while winning on Brutal, which was freaking awesome because Brutal has absolutely kicked my butt, and I finally beat it. We did get close to losing there, though, and turn it around, but I'm learning the lessons on how to compete on Brutal. It was on the easiest map, though. So we're going to move on to the next easiest map, as we continue on with our journey and see if we can still replicate the results. Transport Fever 2, 2 more achievements, now 440. Also about to hit the end of the current map. Almost there. Another week, maybe 2 weeks, and then we're going to reset a new episode 1 and start on a new map and go after different sets of achievements for that one. For instance, there's a single small river running through this map. I've done 0 shipping. We are definitely going to get into shipping, and that next map is tropical, so it's going to be islands, and we will definitely be doing island hopping via ships. In Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2020, still continuing on with our journey in this season, and has not been the season I hoped it would be, but it hasn't been a bad season. We're still in a pretty decent place, 84 points at this point, and plenty of season left to play, and of course the playoffs yet to come. And we should, hopefully, be in. PCMAT Career is retired, but not yet replaced. Automation Empire, retired, not yet replaced. And finally, Football Manager 2020, 6 more points. We are out of the FA Cup this week. That was disappointing, but it was Arsenal. I mean, what are you to do? And we actually played quite well. We were trailing 1-0, but we got a bit of a, what felt, personally, like a BS yellow card. That was a second yellow to a player who had just received the first yellow. It was a very common foul. It was not a foul that you ever see receive a yellow card. Player didn't even fall over. I mean, it was just light contact, and whistle blew. It was like, okay. It was in the middle third of the pitch, so it wasn't an impact call. It wasn't a break. Anyway, red card, and then it was all of a sudden 3-0. 3-1. Did we get a consolation goal? I don't remember now. But it was disappointing. It was very disappointing to go down that way. So now our focus is entirely on the league, but we're in such a strong position, so we still have hope for this season. Now we turn our attention to the all-time virtual best and that new landmark. Let's look at the list first. So Rebel Inc. moves up a spot from 3rd to 2nd. Amazing how it wasn't even on the list recently. And well, no, it's been on the top 10, I guess, for a little while, but it's shot up the list recently and is now number 2, the only game in the 800s, and it's just about the second game to hit 900. Down the list a little bit further, PCM 19 Career Mode jumps 2 places with that 100 points, up to 6th. I don't know if this is irony or not, but looking at the scores, I find enjoyment in seeing a 6.55, a 6.45, and a 6.35 back to back to back. 9th place is FM 20. It added a few points but didn't change its position. It's well short of 8th place at this point, almost 100 points behind. And then a little gap to 10th, where Surviving the Aftermath is at. And of course, we just had that reset, but the score is close enough that it might not take it that long to move up the list. And then on the outside looking in, 12th, the Stage Racer still there. No fireworks coming soon on that, but like I said, we will definitely beat that record, so it'll be inside the top 10 before the end of this season. Transport Fever 2, making its slow jump, but new map coming soon, so it's probably not going to crack the top 10 anytime soon. And now, with the retirement of PCM 18 Career Mode not appearing on the list, the next one to appear on the list, way down in score, we see a big jump, all the way down at 30th with 225 points, is Pro Basketball. But what I really wanted to point out is our change in landmark. That landmark being we've moved up a spot on the real world list of the decathlon. These are national records. The first national record we broke was that of the Turks and Caicos. So that's the last one on the list. There are 86 real-world nations that have competed in the Olympics in the decathlon, and these are those national records. Turks and Caicos way down the list, well below everybody else. And Afghanistan. But what we just passed, our third competitor now, is the competitor out of Paraguay at 6,943. So we go above that, and then we're about to hit the natural landmark of 7,000, just 1 point shy. Should happen next week. Maybe not, but should. But then we're also right on the verge of starting to catch a lot of people. So we're going to start moving up this list a lot faster, and this might appear almost weekly as I start to climb the list. So now in 84th place at roughly 7,000, but just 14 points shy of the Indonesian record, less than 100 away from the Malaysian record, and so on and so forth. And we'll definitely start to climb this list much more rapidly. It was a long time before I ever got on the list, but then I only passed that one for a very long time, as there's 1,600 points separating those last two, and then another 800 points separating the next two. But now, like I said, they're going to get a lot closer together. So I'll start getting into a decent position here before long. That's going to do it for this review special. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one.